Hey, so Matt, you had a pretty big week this week, and you had a trial on Monday or Tuesday, and you came back to the office and you're like, we won. And it was awesome because number one, winning a trial is always a huge deal. But then also, the courts are starting to ramp back up trials. So we're excited to get back into the courtroom. Tell us about what happened, boss.
We showed up ready to go to trial. We had, the state had their witnesses present. My client really wanted to do a trial. We had a really good self-defense argument. We're talking about a battery case and a domestic battery case. So the two different counts, two different victims. So it was pretty wild, but we had a very good self-defense argument. That was one of the main points of contention. Was our client actually in a place where she was supposed to be, where she was entitled to be? And ultimately the judge sided with us after all the evidence came out, but it was a good trial. It was a good trial. Client did an amazing job. I appreciate the fact that they were able to put their trust in us, came back not guilty all the way around.
So, Matt, this is a case where police came to the scene. They talked to our client. They talked to the people that she is alleged to have hit, and they made a decision to arrest our client. And, we didn't accept that. Our client said, hey, I'm not guilty. We said, that's awesome. Prepped the case up, and then, it actually went to trial. And then you, along with our new law clerk, were able to convince the judge to be like, hey, the officers were wrong, the prosecutor was wrong, and in fact, no crime had been committed. How does that feel?
It feels great. It feels great. Every defense attorney loves hearing the two words, not guilty. But to be honest, that was probably the second best thing that came out of that day, because it's not very often a client is, or someone's going to put their money where their mouth is. So that trust means a lot. That was actually the best part about it all, is she trusts us enough to do a trial, because we love doing trials at our firm. So, when we keep saying trial, she was all gung ho about it. So that was probably the best feeling. And then obviously not guilty. That's kind of like that cherry, a little bit of whipped cream on top, maybe some sprinkles for my daughter, but hey, who knows?
You were able to at least show the judge that, number one, how she acted was reasonable, both from an outside looking in and from her perspective. You were able to show the judge that she had the right to be where she was at. And ultimately, you were able to show that she was not the one that started all this. And I mean, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And, to reiterate, to get to a point where there's a trial, officer has to make an arrest. That's number one. The prosecutor reviews what the officer wrote, signs off on it. It's number two. And then a judge actually has to review it. And the judge, when they're reviewing the paper copies, they're not saying beyond a reasonable doubt, but they are saying, hey, looks like there's enough here to convict. And when you go to trial and you get the not guilty, you literally tell the officer, hey, good job. We appreciate your hard work, but you were wrong. Hey, prosecutor, again, appreciate your hard work, but you were wrong. Hey, judge, I know you signed that probable cause affidavit, but I need you to listen to the evidence. And I give the judges so much credit because, they are listening to the facts as presented and making a decision. And I kid you not, man, when you mentioned clients putting their trust in us and going forward with trial, that's a huge responsibility. And I applaud you for fighting hard. Give us some parting thoughts.
Absolutely. Anytime that anyone's charged with a crime, it's definitely a life-changing event. Even if it's a misdemeanor, even if it's a battery case, it's always important to have an attorney by your side.
Good work, Matt.